My name's Terry Miles, and I play the piano and keyboards, organs, synths, etc. Anything to do with keyboards, really. And I have a YouTube channel also called Terry Miles, and I'm on Instagram, Terry Miles Piano. And what I do, I go around the country, usually around I mean, sometimes the world, if I happen to be in a different country, looking for pubs that are still open, and also looking for pubs that still have piano. So I go in the pub, and hopefully it's got a piano. If it's got a piano, which is a very rare thing these days, to have a pub with an old-fashioned Joanna piano, and I go in there, and if the piano's playable, and sometimes even if it's not, I have a go and try and bang out a few tunes, a few sing-alongs in the pubs, film it, and put it on my YouTube channel. And when I'm
Yeah.
not doing that, I play with a band called Primal Scream,
Just on the side. Yeah.
just on the side.
So are you finding that less and less pubs have pianos nowadays?
Yes, definitely. I mean, if you go back, decades, let's go back to, the 50s, for example. It was the only source of entertainment really would be to have live music in a pub. And it usually featured a piano and a piano player who was kind of employed or booked by the pub to come in and sing and play and sing a few songs, and then called a few people that are in the pub up to sing if they knew the songs, and they'd back them on the piano. As
Yeah.
time went on, jukeboxes came, and then and all sorts of other entertainment, TVs in pubs and widescreen TVs and football matches and sports from all over the world. And slowly the piano was made redundant because it took up too much room in a pub. So a lot of them get rid of the piano to make way for an extra table if people are eating and so on, because it's quite a big thing, a piano. So for
Yeah.
that reason, I think less and less pubs have pianos, but there is still the odd one if you look.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like most people's houses also had pianos back in the day.
Obviously, years ago, not everyone had a TV, or
Yeah.
back in the 50s. To have a TV was rare. There wasn't so much choice. You only had one channel or two channels, and then slowly became three, four, and five, and now there's about 500, I think.
Yeah. Well,
And
it's a shame, really. Yeah.
and so it was encouraged that people sat around the piano. People were more inclined to learn songs, either learn to sing them
Yeah.
or learn to play them, or both on the family piano. But luckily, our house always had a piano. It kind of
Yeah. I was
runs in
going
the
to say,
family.
did you grow up around music? Was it just
Yeah.
everywhere?
I mean, my granddad used to play the piano for the silent films. So
Oh, really? Wow.
before films in cinemas had talking, they used to have music accompaniment, and it usually featured a piano player at the side of the screen or down in the pit, doing a matinee and a couple of evening
Amazing.
shows. And that was a job for a pianist to play to the usual, the black and white, Charlie Chaplin silent film or whatever it happened to be, and that's what my granddad used to do.
Did you teach yourself to play piano? So did your parents teach you, or your grandfather?
Well, it runs in the family. My granddad played piano, my grandmother played piano, and when I was 40, we always had a piano in the house, so I'd always just sort of, I just gravitated towards the piano. If a song come on the radio or something, and I'd try and play along with it, probably quite badly.
By ear. Learning
Yeah,
it by
just by
ear. Oh,
ear, yeah.
really? Yeah.
And then eventually I learnt tunes and picked it up. And I was sent to lessons then at the age of 11. And I went to lessons till I left secondary school, which was when I was 16 in 1982. So I went to lessons from 11 to 16, and I got up to my grade 5, practical, that is. I didn't do the
Yeah.
theory. I just did the practical, which was actually playing. And then I left. I kind of lost interest in reading the music and studying for the exams, and I joined a band then, a covers band, where I'm from in Birmingham, and we played around people's weddings and birthdays and anniversaries, etc., working men's clubs and pubs. There was plenty of work. I was out 5 nights a week and a Sunday
Really?
lunch time back in the
Wow.
day. Yeah,
Absolutely incredible.
earning money. So.
Yeah. Well, tell us a bit more about the pub piano quest. What was the origin of that? When did you
Well,
decide you're going to do this?
I started my YouTube channel when YouTube kind of first come out, really. I was always dithering about on it, didn't quite know what YouTube was, what it was for. And when it got to about 2009, I think it was, I thought I started playing the piano on YouTube and showing people how to play different bits and pieces, like be a boogie-woogie piano and this and that, and giving away a few licks here and there. And I just sat at home in my front room doing that in my little studio, and I kind of slowly gathered a following. Um, but it only kind of attracted it only really attracted people that wanted to learn the piano. So it didn't have a big following. I'd probably get a few hundred hits,
Yeah.
um, for under 1,000, that people just found it useful, learning little tricks of the trade, as I call it, little riffs and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's how it started, really. And then it wasn't until I teamed up with another guy called Dr. K, Brendan Kavanagh. He's another quite a big YouTube personality.
He's always at St Pancras, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Playing.
always
Yeah, I've
playing the
seen him
public.
online and sort of
I
public
basically,
performances.
because we did the same kind of thing, had a YouTube channel and played the piano. He kind of contacted me, and then we started doing duets publicly.
Oh, amazing. Yeah.
And that's when the views started to come, because I've realised that people, playing the piano in your front room is all right.
Yeah.
You get a following and all that, but it's playing the piano publicly that people tend to
Sort of impromptu. Yeah.
impromptu. Yeah. If
Yeah.
it's planned, people aren't into it. But if it comes across as impromptu, even if it is planned, and you make it look like it's impromptu,
Gotta be a good
then
actor. Yeah.
you've got to be a good actor sometimes. I mean, but of course, mine's always impromptu. And
Yeah.
if it's not, I do let the people know.
Yeah.
So I met him, and he kind of introduced me to the public piano scene, if you like,
Yeah.
playing around the St Pancras in particular, and station pianos and so on. And I found a few in shopping malls or shopping centres and all that kind of thing. And then eventually, when I sort of did that, I thought I wanted to do something else. And then it just comes to me one day. I just thought, I was in a pub in North Wales, in a place called Blaenau Festiniog, and there was about 3 locals in the bar and this piano. And I said to my wife, and my daughter was with me, Elsie, I said, there's a piano over there. I might just go and play it. And I got up and played it, and it was all out of tune and half the notes weren't working. And I was totally ignored. Not one single person looked round, and I was almost like I was invisible, And then I sort of thought, what if I was to go around pubs and call it Terry's Pub Piano Quest? And that's
Yeah.
when the idea came, which was about, I don't know, it must be about 7 or 8 years ago now.
Oh, really? Okay.
It-
How
it-
many do you think you've done now?
I don't know, I haven't counted them, but there's a good few. And
Yeah.
it was kind of a pre-lockdown type of thing I came up with. And then, of course, the lockdown came in 2020. And to be honest, it was a good thing for me, because I started doing live streams, YouTube live streams every day,
Yeah.
7 days a week from my front room, basically, at home. Everybody was locked in, and all
Yeah.
over the world. They couldn't go to church, and they couldn't go to the pub, and they couldn't do this, and they couldn't do that. So on Sundays, I played hymns for people and called it Terry's Sunday Service. And then every other day, I used to play my synths and the piano and play a few covers
Amazing.
of classic synth pop songs and so on. And I gathered my main following that I have now on YouTube through the lockdown. So
Yeah.
it was. I know it was a bad time for most people, but for me, it was
Yeah.
great.
Well, you got about, is it 500,000 at the moment?
It's gone just over 500,000 now, yeah, just
Incredible.
over, yeah.
Absolutely incredible.
It's taken a few years to do that, but a good
Well,
few years.
yeah. Well, tell us about the early days of the Pub Piano Quest. So were you actually doing a bit of research and kind of turning up and hoping that there'd be a piano there?
Well, this is the thing. You can't really research that, even if you go
Oh, yeah.
onto Google and go pubs with pianos. It doesn't really come up with much. So you have to literally go find a pub, walk in it, and see if it's got a piano. So that's what we did. We drove round, started off in North Wales, around Llangollen, Blaenau Festiniog, Llandudno, and those kind of places. And I walked into this one. So you walk in, and 9 times out of 10 there isn't a pub,
Yeah.
And then I was in a Betsy Coed in North Wales. Went in there, and there was a piano. So there was no one in the pub. There was about the bar staff and about 5 or 6 other people. Played the piano, and a few people sort of said, "Look, do you mind, we're eating? We're trying to have a chat." And I sort of said, "Okay, sorry." So it didn't go down too well. It doesn't always work, you get told off sometimes.
Oh,
Don't
really?
play. Yeah, if people are trying to eat food, because pubs serve
Yeah.
food, and if you go in there and start playing the piano while people are eating, they tend not to like it. And then there was another time when Llangollen, which is also in North Wales, and there was literally 3 people in the pub. And
Yeah.
when and I started playing Jerry Lee Lewis on the piano, singing "Great Balls of Fire," or a whole lot of shaking going on, and and everyone just the 3 people that were in there ignored me, and it was like about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. I politely bought myself a vodka and tonic,
Yeah.
got my daughter to film it, and then played the Jerry Lee Lewis. And the lady come from behind the bar and she said, "Do you mind?" She said, "I can't hear people what they're asking for at the bar, And I thought, well, there's only
That's
3
so,
people in here, and anyway, so
that's,
and then I also thought, well,
yeah.
why is there a piano in the place if
No one's allowed to play it.
So you do get, but then as time went on, I found that recently I don't have to look for them anymore, because eventually I just kept on bashing away at it, and it became it took off on YouTube basically. The
Yeah.
first few just didn't do much and got a few hundred hits or whatever, but then there was a couple that just really went down well. And now people email me, or they Instagram me, message me on Instagram and say, "Hey, there's a pub in Suffolk, for example.
Yeah.
If you're ever passing, please call in." So they're not always local. Sometimes I have to travel. I'm in Hackney. I'm in E8 in London, the East End.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, there's been a few in London I've done, which is fine. You hop on a tube and you do that, and you come home again, and you spend a bit of time there, and it's great. And other times I do travel. I've been to Suffolk. I've done a few in Suffolk
Yeah.
actually.
Well, what was the reaction in Suffolk? Did people like it?
Yeah,
Or
it's good.
well, that's like, no, go away.
I do love Suffolk. I must admit, it's one of my favourite, if not the favourite part of the country for me.
Our listeners will like that.
Of England, because me and my wife, we whenever we get a chance, like a long weekend, we always holiday in Suffolk. So we'll go to a mobile home site or something. There's plenty of park holiday type places that you can hire a caravan for a weekend, 3 nights. And then while I'm there, I don't only look around for the pubs, I also look around the churches. And in Suffolk, generally speaking, the churches, that's got a lot of medieval churches and chapels and so on. And they're open. They're not lots like they are here in London and most other cities. In Suffolk, in the countryside in particular, they're open. So you find out where the churches are. And okay, they don't always have organs or pianos, but most do. And if there is a pipe organ in there, I go and I play the piano, and I call it Terry's Church Pipe Organ Quest. So that's another little thing.
Another side quest.
Yeah, it's another one I do, and when either the pubs or the churches, but pubs with pianos tends to be the most popular. My church quest has an audience as well of people, especially people that are into pipe organs and hymns, and sometimes I sort of play the traditional hymns and try and jazz them up a bit, boogie. Not always. I do it with a bit of respect, obviously in the churches it doesn't always go down well if you just go into a church and start playing boogie-woogies. But I try and do it as subtle as I can,
Yeah. Well, your style of playing boogie-woogie, how did you get introduced to that?
I mean, it's something I've always been into ever since a kid. I grew up with rock and roll and Jerry Lee Lewis, obviously the Beatles as well, which came out. Early Beatles, there's a lot of rock and roll going on. And but Jerry Lee Lewis in particular, Floyd Kramer.
The main one,
Floyd Kramer, he was a session piano player in the 60s. He specialised in country style piano and rock and roll, and as well. So and Fats Domino and Albert Hammond, and I've always had an interest in boogie-woogie piano.
It's a really tricky style, isn't it? Because I'm not a pianist, I play guitar, but don't you have to do the bass part moving up like that while you're doing a melody. On the other hand, you've got a really complex moving bass line.
To coordinate the two hands is it just takes a bit of practice, really. You got to just sit there and practice it for ages until it clicks.
If I was going to learn the piano, it'd be that style for sure. It looks amazing.
Well, it gets the most attention as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you suddenly go up and play Adele or something, then it doesn't really do it. But if you go and play Jerry Lee Lewis, Great Balls of Fire, people will either love it or they'll hate it, or they'll start dancing or something.
Tell us a bit more about the Sweffling White Horse. Did people love your set there? Was it a great
Well, this is
night?
I happened to. I was in Suffolk and we passed the pub, and the reason why I went in the pub was because I don't know. I just love the look of it from the outside, and it's just a fascinating looking pub, and it had a for sale sign on the outside, and I thought, God, I wonder, what if I ran my own pub that had a piano,
Yeah.
So it was just a bit of a sort of dream.
Yeah.
So we couldn't. Me and my wife were there. We passed in, had the camera with me on the old mobile phone, went in there, and it's like full of fascinating people and a very oldie worldy type of pub, where
It's amazing, isn't it?
When it doesn't have a bar, you have to go ask for the drink. Then they go out the back and they kind of come with your drink and you pay them cash only, I think it was as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And which I love that as well. And I seen a piano there, and I just got up and started playing a few sing-alongs, and then a lady got up and started singing, and so on, and that was it. We had a bit of an evening there. I think I played about an hour and a half in the end. Had a good few drinks, and then filmed it and staggered home, and staggered home along the country lanes, to the old caravan that we
proper
hired.
country life, yeah.
And stuck it on my YouTube channel, and that's got a good old a good few views.
I remember seeing it on Facebook, and it looks like everyone's really, really enjoying it.
Yeah, they were. It's a good night. It's a good evening, know. And if you can get someone in the audience to participate, get up and sing a few songs, all the better,
No, for sure. Tell us a bit about how you met Primal Scream and began touring with them.
Well, Primal Scream, okay, it's a band I've always been interested in, always liked what they did. And their long-term keyboard player of must have been 30-odd years, the original guy, he was my cousin, and he died, unfortunately. And I stepped in to he was also a boogie-woogie pianist. He played all styles. And we played a very similar style. Me and Martin, his name was Martin Duffy, and me and him had a little duo going called the Cryptics. And we made little cassette albums when cassettes were the thing, back in the day, back in the early 80s through the mid 80s. He joined Primal Scream, and we played a similar style. We taught each other basically little riffs and tricks of the trade and all that. So we grew up together playing keyboards. He died in 2022, and I stepped into his shoes as best I could. And as we played a very similar style, I was sort of I fit in with the band basically, because I kind of knew pretty much what he was doing and stuff like that, and knew the songs, and I've been with them ever since.
You just got back from a South America tour. How was that?
We started in Mexico, did a couple of shows in Mexico, and then we sort of flew all around. We went to Uruguay, Colombia, Peru, Chile, Argentina, ended up in Brazil, and that was just under 3 weeks, that tour was. And it was amazing. I've been with the band now for about 3.5 years, and they're great people, great music, and they look after you, basically. So we're one big happy family.
No, amazing. Well, Terry, I'd love to talk to you further, but unfortunately I've got another podcast in about 5 minutes' time. But it's been great to talk to you. I'm glad we could organise this. And I'm going to go and find some more pubs and stuff that have a piano for you and let you know.
If you ever, or anybody listening, sees a pub with a piano...
where can they contact you?
Well, you could email me, boogie-woogie-terry@gmail.com. Very easy to remember, boogie-woogie-terry@gmail.com. Or they could message me on Instagram. So if you want to find me on Instagram, I'm at Terry Miles Piano. At Terry Miles Piano, all one word. And please send me an Instagram and just say there's a pub by me. It's called the so-and-so. It's in Suffolk or it's in Wales I don't care where it is. I'll go. I'll even go to a war zone to play a piano in a pub.
Yeah, there is one down the road from me that has a piano, but I'm afraid it's very, very out of tune. So might have to sort that first. I'll keep you updated.
Tell me if you email me the pub or something like that, or Instagram it me the name of the pub and pretty much where it is. Yeah. I could possibly have a chat with the landlord or landlady. And
well, I could,
Oh, and because it does, I don't mind an out-of-tune piano, it's fine. But if it's too gone, then it's impossible to get a decent tune out of it. But sometimes if they're just a bit out of tune, they can sometimes sound quite good, actually.
Yeah. Well, it'd be great to bring you back to Suffolk. I hope it happens.
But please find out about that pub and the piano, and we can arrange to get it tuned, and we'll do an evening there.
That'd be absolutely amazing. Thanks so much for talking to me today.
If you want to catch me, I'm Terry Mars at YouTube. Terry Mars on YouTube.
We'll link it all down below.
Link it all down.
All right, go there.
That's fantastic. Well, thanks for asking me on. It's been great.
Great to talk to you.
We'll speak soon, old boy.